Welcome to the What Are We Doing Here podcast, where we share the inspiring stories of two completely opposite women who overcame their unhealthy relationships with food and negative self talk and found a path to health and healing through self discovery and natural nutritional supplements. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Brittany. And today we just kind of want to catch up. We're going to start with talking about some choices, including the choice to be on here right now. I've been sick. Lindsay had a hurricane blow through. We just had a lot going on. And I think it's midnight your time, isn't it, Lindsay? And
It
we're
is.
still
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We do this a little different than probably other people who podcast. We're not really good at batching or, we try to catch up weekly and do this kind of live each week. And so with that, sometimes things come up. And today we were talking as because I was on my way home from work this evening, tonight, late. And it was, well, do you want to do it tomorrow? We say we're going to upload a podcast at 6 a.m. So we're doing it. And I think that it's important because we all have choices. Sometimes they're really hard choices,
Yes.
like staying up and doing a podcast instead of going to bed like we'd like to. And that's just a minor choice. I think one big thing that I really, we've talked a little bit about this, but feeling like you're stuck in a career, stuck in a job, stuck in, even if you took a sign-on bonus or something. Because I was talking to one of the nurses that I work with in the emergency department. We were talking about that. Like, well, when you take a sign-on bonus, you're stuck, even if you don't like it. Well, you're not. The choice is pay back the money. That's a hard choice. It's a hard choice, but we all have choices.
Yeah. It's opportunity cost, right? You can do
Absolutely.
one or the other. It's still going to cost no matter what you pick.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so, I think that that's just such an important thing for people to think about and remember that you're never stuck. It
No.
just may be a much more difficult choice to make to get outside of comfortable, because that's what happens. Our bodies, we get comfortable. We
Oh,
get
yeah.
comfortable and we don't want to do the hard things. We don't want to make the hard choices that are required to move us forward and to get out of that stuck zone. So, I was, I really thought about that a lot in the last 2 years with some of the big choices that Bill and I have made. But it really came up significantly because I'm reading a book that really talks about choices. It's called Essentialism by Greg McKeown. And it really talks a lot about doing what's most important right now.
Yeah.
Only doing what's most important right now and finding the essential steps, the essential things that need to be done right now. Because in a world that we live in with chaos and hustle culture, we've talked about that before, that it's really easy to get overwhelmed and worked up with our list of to-dos.
Yes.
Because it all feels like it has to be done. But if we could just
Absolutely.
stop.
Yeah, so it's funny that you bring that up. Usually we're at opposite ends on a lot of things, but I'm listening to an audiobook by Grant Cardone, and he talks a lot about that. I think I showed you I bought a journal, and it's focused. The journal is focusing your time, making the choices. Well, I can show you. So you schedule your day. You put the most important things here. You fill it up, right? And it's about being intentional with your choices and your time, and how that in turn maximizes your time and your life, really. So
Yep.
I'm not very
100.
far into the book, but I love the journal so far.
Yeah, and we've talked about that, how I block time
Yes.
because that's the way that I can focus and get things done. I put those 3, most important things in the morning after I
Mhm.
gratitude journal that have to get done. But this has really even helped me focus a little more because there are so many things that start being apparent that they're really not that important.
Right.
Like,
Absolutely.
and so I think that it's amazing. So,
That's even going back to kind of, we mentioned it a while back, I think, with food, but the 80-20, right?
mm,
Focusing your energy on the 20% because that's the most of your task. Your 20% of your task are the most important and are going to get you further than the other 80% that you waste time on.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's just really important to think about the choices and not getting caught up in feeling like someone else is dictating what you do.
Oh, that's a big one.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can
That
really people please.
Yes, exactly. Learn to say no, kind of thing. Because when you don't say no, when you people please, and I'm learning this, y'all know I'm a recovering doormat, but when you do that, you lose a little bit of your control. And we've talked about control before, but it can cause a lot of stress when you don't have control over your own decisions, right? And when you try to people please, really, you have no control of your own decisions. You're giving somebody else that control.
Right.
Yeah.
And this will be a whole nother podcast in itself that Brittany's not ready to do yet, but that's boundaries, Brittany.
As I mouthed
So
it and pointed to you, boundaries.
we will get there one day talking
I got
about
my
boundaries.
list out. I thought you were going to give me something else. I should have known. Look,
I,
we might have to block that out in like 3 different sections.
I know.
Anyway, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Brittany will be boundaries. Nope, new topic.
Yeah, I kind of steered Lindsay away from that one. Um, I don't
It's a
know.
tough one. It
It
really
is.
is. And so we're going to divert right now and
Yeah.
catch up a little bit. So, anything new going on with you? Because
Well,
my kids went back to school and, you know,
yes. So how's that going? They love it.
no.
Answer. I saw your head and then I was like, no.
No. And it's crazy because there was a time that I was ready for them to go back,
Mhm.
when they were smaller and life just felt different and I didn't have some of the boundaries in place that I have. I didn't have some of the perspectives that I have
Mm.
now.
Yeah.
And it was very much everything's busy. When they just go back to school, I'll have time. And it's crazy because I was not ready for them to go back to school this year. Like
Of course not.
I wanted more time with them.
Mhm.
And, we did the road trip and we really just had some incredible bonding this summer. And so for all of us, it's been a difficult transition, them getting back into school. So yeah, they're doing well. They're doing well with school, but we all just kind of wish it could be a perpetual summer.
Yeah. Right. Especially the teachers.
Yeah.
Kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah. No, not a lot new going on. Just, and this is important to me, and I'm going to mention it here that, I've kind of plugged myself back in and become focused. July is usually my month that I'm a slacker. So I've kind of plugged myself back into my business and, things are rolling and, I've got some good leads there, but just, being present because, it's hard when you work from home because it's like, oh, I'll just catch that tomorrow. But, you really have to, again, make the choice and focus your time and energy into, what you want to build. The grass is green where you water it kind of thing. So, um, that's pretty much all that's new for me, working a lot, like you. And, reaping some benefits, and it's been nice.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
really great. Yeah. It really feels good to feel like things are aligning.
Yes.
You know, it's just that organic alignment by
Hmm.
showing up who we want to be in the world.
Yes.
So, yeah,
Well,
it's
and
really cool.
I find as we've been on this journey, we set out to, talk about health and the physical, the mental, all of it, and I find myself growing so much from these podcasts. We usually come in with a topic, and um, then I think on it. I think about what I want to say sometimes if we have time. But afterwards, then I reflect and I listen again and I learn even more. And I'm thinking, oh, that makes sense to me now. Um, but just kind of focusing, excuse me, just a second. But so just listening to myself and looking at where I'm going. Um, and so we've been doing it's the mental emotional growth, and the positivity that's come out of it has been from here to here for me. Just in a few months of doing this podcast, just the personal growth and development, I would not give up for anything. And that, getting to what I'm saying, because of the personal growth, I'm finding people that add value to my life. Um, People that I never really was around before, but because I'm growing and changing in a more positive direction, I'm finding those people. I've always been this girl that's like, where's my tribe? Where's my tribe? You know, I never felt like I fit in anywhere. Even in high school, I was the first cheerleader that went through that was cheerleading in band. Like I never really had that tribe, that sisterhood. And as I'm growing and learning about myself and becoming who I need to be, who I'm supposed to be, I'm attracting valuable people, people that add
Mm.
to my life. Starting with
Yeah.
you, you're the first one that came along, and I've just kind of, now I know what I need.
Yeah.
You got to add up. You got to at least equal Lindsay, right, or come close. I'm just kidding. There'll
You're
never be another you.
you're so silly. And I think that that's such an incredible point. Being different when we were younger was difficult. And not
Mm,
that it's not still, but being able to feel comfortable being a little different and aligning with the people who are also just truly want to find who they're meant to be in the world.
mhm.
It's so incredible. And as you shine your positivity and you shine your light, it's like a beacon for people to kind of navigate to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's been really cool as well. I've been on this journey a little longer than you, and you'll still have cycles because people are always going to be for a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
Yes.
And, and I think remembering when you felt like someone was supposed to be there forever and it just isn't that way, that we have to remember that God placed them there for why they were supposed to be there, the reason or the
Yes.
season. If there's something happening that's causing you to not be aligned anymore. So, you know.
Yeah, I agree. Walk away when you need to,
Hmm.
kind of thing. We talk about that a lot with the toxicity and all. But as I'm growing again from this podcast and just working on my personal growth, I'm learning to see, and I don't want this to sound bad, but I'm gonna say it, but I'm learning to see when people are using me.
Hmm.
Um, Again, I don't want to be ugly, but when they're using you or not adding value, it's not even that, it's when they're draining you.
Yes.
I'm learning to see that.
I think another thing is recognizing when someone is a trigger or
Ooh,
recognizing when, like, and reflecting on what is it? What is it that's mirroring? What are you seeing? What is causing that trigger? You're getting really good at that as well. And I think that that's so important because sometimes when you people are stuck in this kind of like victim-y
Yes.
mentality that everything's happening to them. It's someone
Mhm.
else's fault. And I have been so super proud of you for being able to look at things and say, what is going on over here that's triggering me? And it's mine to own.
Yes.
Mine to own. It
Mhm.
isn't their problem. It's
No.
mine to own. So I just, that is some growth that I've seen in you that has been like, incredible. Like I'm so proud of you when we have conversations and you pick that up. It's like, "Oh, yeah, this one's mine." It's
So what
it's
you're
just been
saying is
really,
I'm learning to set boundaries?
yeah. And you're
Getting
just
there.
learning to recognize
Mm.
when and self-reflect.
Yes, yes.
People are so it's really difficult to look at the hard things in yourself. We don't want to see the negativity, especially in ourselves. We don't want to see that we could potentially be part of the problem.
Mhm. Right.
It's human nature, right? It's that comfort. It's going back to that feeling good. And when you have to look down deep inside and say, well, that one was actually on me, it's no
Yes.
fun.
No, it's not. Admitting when you're wrong, but so here's what I've learned. When you self-reflect and you see that you're wrong, and then you come back and admit that you were wrong, whether it's to yourself, to your partner, to another relationship, it doesn't matter. To somebody at work, when you admit that you're wrong, then it sparks a conversation and you can grow from that. So
Yeah.
you're admitting you're wrong, but then you're hearing their viewpoint too, or hearing why you're wrong, and then you start that acceptance cycle, and you start growing from that, and it builds confidence.
Mhm.
When you can take criticism and turn it around and say, okay, then I need to change this and this, or when you can take the fact that you're wrong and learn from it, it takes you from here to here. I mean, it
Uh-huh.
really does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I got to tell you one thing that you have to remember is that if you're having a conversation with someone who can't self-reflect and cannot take responsibility for their actions, you might as well just shut it down, walk away.
Mm.
Because if they're not ready to do that reflection, if they're not ready to take accountability,
Hmm.
we can't make them do anything. We've got to deal with, I said my piece, I'm done. I'm not
Yes.
arguing, you know?
I had a friend tell me not long ago, I was having a disagreement with another friend, and she said to me, she said, which she's in her later 70s, and so she's lived a life and she's done all these different jobs. We grow wiser as we grow older, right? And she said to me, she said, "You've said your piece. You're not going to change their mind. They've said their piece, you've said your piece. Why are you still harping on it? Why are you still talking about it?
Right.
Move on either from the situation or from them."
Yes.
So,
Yep. And again, that's hard to do. Sometimes you're in situations where it's difficult to get away from that person,
oh
that
yeah.
encounter, that,
Hmm.
you know, but we always have a choice. It just may be a really difficult one.
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I agree. So tell me about your hurricane, because I've been stressed.
we with Idalia going one way, we were really lucky. But I hear, as I was at work today, they were saying that she may come back around and like smack us on the other side. I don't know. I haven't really looked. I live inland quite a ways. And so even when they kind of come as a direct hit towards the center of the state, we get thunderstorms, we have power outages. It really is more like a bad thunderstorm. So with this one, we were very lucky. We didn't have any damage.
Thank
Um,
goodness.
so
Yeah,
we
because
were really,
because you grew up, further north. When
Mhm.
you've never experienced one, yeah, you
Yeah,
really watching the weather. They really hype it up. I know. Night before last when it was going to hit, I was like watching whoever was on Facebook at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then we were chatting. I was like, "Look, half my tribe's down there, and then my
yeah,
sister was down there photographing a wedding, of all things." And I was like, "Somebody needs to talk to me. Like, what's really happening there? I should have just packed up and came."
you're so funny. Well, and I think for me, it's been really different having lived in the North and watching the news and feeling how scary it looks, and
Hmm.
then being here. And if you've ever had a snowstorm, if you've had, honestly, you have so much more time to prepare than a tornado because
Yeah.
they pop up quickly.
Hmm.
But it truly is, you don't know where it's going to hit, but if you are on the coast or you're in an area that it could potentially cause significant flooding and they tell you to evacuate, you have time to do it. And that's what I felt like. The first one last year was really scary.
Yeah.
I had a much different perspective than I do this year. And we just made sure we were prepared for
Yeah.
whatever. If we had to be prepared for 2 weeks power outages, we were. We had fuel, we had generator, we have all the things. So
I think when I picture a hurricane, I think Katrina. I think that's what we all think. We've seen that devastation so much and then going and seeing it later. And anyway, so I was freaking out. I'm glad you guys are safe.
yeah. Yep, me too. So we'll just have to watch and see if there are any updates that she's gonna come and do a U-turn.
I didn't even see that. Great. Progress
I could
from
be
here to
totally
here.
I could be totally wrong. Somebody else told me and I did not check my facts.
Can we get a fact check here, please?
I
Fact
know,
check.
right? Yes. Yeah.
So,
Funny.
but
Well,
I missed you. We
oh,
weren't here. We missed a week. I was sick. It's just crazy. Life happens. And I miss you when we're not here.
I
I miss these
know.
times catching up.
Me too. So if you don't have a person like Brittany, or you don't have a person to Brittany
Me.
like me, you need to find you one, because it really truly is important to have someone who compliments you well. Mm.
That's exactly right. We say all the time how good we are together, but if we look at it, when we started this podcast, we were so different in every aspect of our life. So
Mhm.
that's the key word right there. We complement each other.
Right. Because there have been so many things that I've learned from you that I never would have thought of because my perspective is completely opposite.
Ditto.
And it really opens your eyes to things that you never would have imagined,
Right.
So
Exactly.
finding a friend who is completely opposite, it's really stinking amazing.
Yes. And positive. Find
Yeah.
somebody that
Yeah.
wants to grow and to get better, somebody that's striving to get better. That's
Yeah.
important. That way you don't end up with that weight of toxicity.
Right. Yep. Yep. And once you start being on your own self-development journey, you'll start recognizing who those positive people are and who you need to cut quickly, you
You
know?
know what I heard? I heard if you want to grow, if you want personal development really fast, join a network marketing company.
I did too. I have heard that. It's like personal development on steroids because
Mhm.
everybody wants you to be better.
Yes.
Like
And it's like a
everyone
huge
wants you to
learning
grow.
curve, and you either got to keep up or you're way left behind. Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry. It's funny that you
It's
brought that
get
up because that's my
get with
first
the
thought.
times or get off the boat.
Right.
Sink or swim, man. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, awesome. It was really good. I don't have anything else specific for tonight.
I mean,
Um,
it's like midnight, 1
yeah.
a.m., something like
Yep.
that.
Yep. So if you enjoyed this catch up of Brittany and I, we will be back next week with something really wonderful to teach you. It might be boundaries.
Well, I mean, we both have more. I think we have some time off that we could schedule in, right?
You want to
Get me
talk about
on the
boundaries?
calendar.
I need to talk to you about boundaries before the next episode. Is that what you mean?
Oh, I don't know.
No, it will not be boundaries yet. Just not quite. We're not quite ready.
I'm
Oh,
definitely not.
yeah. Well, if you found value in this episode, make sure that you share it with a friend, like it on your favorite listening platform. Check mark us, put the bell on YouTube. I'm so tired.
It's a bell. She means subscribe and hit the
Subscribe.
like button. And you know what? Comment. Like I'm all the time going, hey, did we get any comments? I want to hear
Yeah,
from you guys.
yeah,
Yeah. Sorry.
definitely. No, I love it. So
I'm
give
throwing
us,
you off.
let us know what you want us to talk about, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.